Everybody ready? Well, I just want to say how excited I am to be here today. I want to thank all our friends across the street. Everyone is here to talk about something we think is going to make a huge impact on the lives of everyday New Yorkers, and something that people have been waiting for, so their lives can be a little more secure, as so many of our fellow New Yorkers still deal with the effects of a really tough economy. I want to say we are blessed to be joined by a lot of great leaders, and in a few minutes I'm going to get the formal list of all the elected officials. I want to make sure not to leave anyone out, so that will come in just a few minutes. But I want to thank up front Esmeralda Valencia, who just hosted us in her wonderful restaurant. I urge all New Yorkers to visit Esmeralda's. And I want to thank Leonardo Hernando, who you're going to hear from in a moment, who works in a car wash in Queens, is going to tell us his story. I am so thrilled today to be standing next to Speaker Melissa Mark-Viverito. And I'm so excited by the opportunity to work together for progressive change in this city. I want to thank someone I had the honor of being at her swearing in a few days ago, Manhattan Borough President Gail Brewer, who we all owe such a debt of gratitude for the leadership she has shown on the paid sick days issue. Let's give her the applause she deserved. I want to thank Councilmember Dan Garodnick, here at this moment or coming. I want to thank him because the amendments he offered last year were also a crucial part of the process that led to step one. Today we're going to talk about the crucially necessary step two in this process to make sure that paid sick days reach all New Yorkers who need them. I also want to thank the Better Balance Coalition and the Paid Sick Days Coalition, extraordinary activists and leaders. And let me tell you, it may have taken a while, brothers and sisters, but you never gave up the fight, and it was an honor to work side by side with you. Now, Melissa and I just we just had a few moments with Esmeralda and Leonardo, and they're really powerful stories, and it was so important for us to hear from them. It really makes the case why this is so important for every New Yorker. These are two hard-working New Yorkers. One, again, owns this restaurant. One is a car wash worker. They've both struggled and worked hard their whole time here in this country, in this city, to make a better life for themselves and their families. And both are fundamentally committed to making sure that New Yorkers who don't have paid sick leave get it, because they know, each from their own perspective, what it means for everyday people's lives. And we're here, all of us, there's a mission we're all a part of, is to make the lives of everyday people better, to ease the burdens of hardworking New Yorkers. And that is how we create one city. I've talked many times about the tale of two cities we face. Pause. Fire tape. Thank you. I like the way you jumped in the minute the train came over. Very good. We've talked a lot about the tale of two cities. Our goal is to create one city where everyone can rise together, and this is one of the steps we have to take to make that possible. And the time to act is now. So many people in this city are struggling to make ends meet, and the numbers are sobering. We've talked about the fact that nearly half of New Yorkers, 46% of New Yorkers, at or near the poverty level. More than a quarter of the families in our homeless shelter system have at least one working parent. Think about that. Folks who are hardworking, who are doing the right thing, can't afford a place to live, end up in shelter. That's how tough it is for some people to make it in this town. Many families already close to the edge economically, living on the brink, are just one illness away from losing that paycheck that they can't afford to go without. Even for a lot of families, losing one day's pay could set them back horribly, but losing a week or 2 weeks' pay would be devastating for so many people who literally have no savings at all. So Our job is to recognize that in a city as great as New York, it's not acceptable that so many people are living with that kind of insecurity. It's not acceptable that so many of our fellow New Yorkers are living on the edge economically when there's something we could do to ease their burden. We know New Yorkers are compassionate. We know that we are a compassionate city devoted to all of our fellow citizens. And today we have the ability to do something profound to improve the lives of New Yorkers right away. This progressive agenda I've talked about over the last year, and I know that Speaker Mark-Viverito shares deeply, something she's committed her whole life to. This agenda starts now. Talked about on Inauguration Day. I said we would work together to put it into action immediately, and today we're taking a crucial step forward. I'm here to announce today with my colleagues that we're immediately acting on a dramatic expansion of the paid sick leave law for the City of New York. Legislation that we are putting forward with the City Council will expand the paid sick leave bill to cover an additional 500,000 New Yorkers, 500,000 people that now do not have the security, the guarantee, the legal right to paid sick days. It's time they had that right. And we're accelerating the implementation of the existing law and, of course, the coverage for all New Yorkers not yet covered. We're accelerating it to this year in all cases. People who need paid sick leave need it this year in 2014, not someday in the future, this year.
Yes.
I'm now going to humbly use my Spanish language skills, which is a lot harder when I'm standing next to a native Spanish speaker, but that's okay. That's all right, I'll be bold. El proyecto que estamos enviando hoy al Consejo Municipal ampliará la ley de días de enfermedad pagos para cubrir a 500,000 de neoyorquinos más. It's hard to understand, but something's getting through.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. They understood.
Además, I love it. Thank you. Además, estamos acelerando la puesta en vigor de la ley para que los neoyorquinos tengan cobertura este año. Now, this means, again, that more than 500,000 New Yorkers additional will have the right to paid sick leave, and that right cannot be taken away. That is the power of this law. More people will be covered. They will be covered more quickly, and the right cannot be taken away. And under this legislation, starting this April, the lives of over 500,000 New Yorkers will be immeasurably better. Their lives will be more secure. Families will be stronger and more stable because they will have paid sick leave coverage. I want to thank Speaker Melissa Mark-Viverito and all the council members who are here, and we're going to acknowledge them all in a moment. I want to thank them because they're ready to move forward. By the way, for years they've been ready to move forward. And I have had the honor of working with so many of the council members in the previous council who worked for 3 long years to get action. I've talked to so many of the incoming members who share that passion. This is a group of leaders ready to act. And we're going to show the people of this city that government can work on their behalf and do so swiftly. And this legislation, again, will build on the law passed last year. And with these changes, we will have one of the strongest paid sick leave laws in the nation. People working at businesses with 5 or more employees will be covered and protected instead of the 15-employee threshold of the current law. That right there will cover an additional 355,000 New Yorkers. We will eliminate the phase-in period. All workers included in the bill will have immediate coverage. This means that 140,000 people who would have waited until 2015 will be covered in 2014. We're going to remove the exemptions for certain economic sectors. That means that an additional 76,000 workers will be covered. We're going to drop the language that created an economic trigger that said if the economy experienced certain factors that somehow this law would not take place. We're taking that language out because in a troubled economy, people need paid sick leave even more to protect their families. And we're going to recognize something that everyone here knows, that families come in every shape and size, that families come in every type, that many children are cared for by grandparents, by aunts and uncles, by siblings, and that paid sick leave right must apply regardless of who is caring for children who are sick and need help. So let's be very clear. This City Hall is going to be on the side of working families all over this city. We're going to work hard and we're going to work together, both sides of City Hall, to make sure that this will be one city where everyone rises together. With that, it is my honor to introduce the Speaker of the New York City Council, Melissa Mark-Viverito. And look at that.
Buenas tardes a todos. I want to really thank Buenas tardes. I want to thank Leonardo and Esmeralda for sharing some time with us earlier and for really expressing why the need of this bill in its expanded version is so critical. I want to recognize the council members that are here. We have council members Kozlowitz, Koo, Ferreras, Van Bramer, Landsman, Miller, Cohen, Cumbo, Levin, Levine, King, Eugene, Menchaca, Espinal, Rosenthal, Reynoso, Chin, Cornegie, Johnson, Rodriguez, Vaca, Torres, and Lander. I think that gives you an idea.
You have a quorum.
I think that gives you an idea of where we are with the need for this bill. So I want to thank, first of all, Mayor de Blasio, and also express that today, as has been mentioned, is a good day for working New Yorkers. Paid sick leave is a right that New Yorkers should have. Working New Yorkers are susceptible to illnesses that keep us out of work from time to time, whether it's the common cold or major sicknesses. But being sick does not discriminate based on where you work or who your boss is. Getting sick, or your children or family member getting sick, should not be a reason for someone to lose their job, and that is what this bill will begin to fix. Time off from work due to illness is not a luxury. You should not have to choose between your health and your job. But for far too many New Yorkers, this is a choice they must make when they or a family member gets sick. Thankfully, we began to change that last year when we finally passed paid sick legislation after years of wading through a compromise. While that legislation was a good start, it was not nearly enough. And many of the 38 original sponsors of the legislation were not satisfied. Now with these changes, hundreds of thousands more New Yorkers will have access to paid sick leave. It's a policy that's good for public health, good for families, and good for our economy. Yes, it's been a long road to get here, as many of us can attest. I co-sponsored paid sick legislation way back in August of 2009, and then again in March 2010 when it was reintroduced. And here we have the original sponsor, our former colleague and now Borough President, Gail Brewer. It's been a battle at times, but we have not forgotten or given up on hard-working New Yorkers. They are our focus, and they are our priority. And through the hard work of the City Council, our new mayor, and thousands of advocates, paid sick days are about to become a reality for New Yorkers who have never had them before. The goal of this legislation is to help New Yorkers, plain and simple. This bill we plan to introduce will expand access while giving the city the tools it needs to enforce the law. While there will be plenty of times when Mayor de Blasio and I disagree on an issue, this is one where we have agreed for a long, long time. This is the kind of progressive change that can happen when the mayor and the city council share the same priorities and values that put working New Yorkers first. As I said at the beginning, this is a good day for New Yorkers, and I am proud to say the city council will step up to make paid sick leave a reality for those who need it.
Thank you.
Oops, sorry. No.
Now, we had a veritable all-star team of city council members. I told the speaker I think she has a quorum here on the street
Yes.
in Brooklyn. Let me acknowledge this, just an extraordinary cross-section of leaders of the city here, so let me acknowledge them all now. I want to thank our shy and retiring public advocate, Tish James. I just keep telling Tish I hope she'll come out of her shell at some point. I want to thank our comptroller, Scott Stringer. Again, thank you to current Borough President Gail Brewer and former he's still Mr. Brooklyn, but former Borough President Marty Markowitz. Thank you so much for being here. They will never take Mr. Brooklyn away. We're going to make that law, too. That's the next law we're going to work on. I want to thank our former Comptroller, Liz Holtzman. I want to thank our members of Congress who are here, Nydia Velasquez, Carolyn Maloney, and I think Jerry Nadler's here. All right. I want to thank from the State Senate, Senator Martin DeLon and Senator Malcolm Smith. I want to thank from the Assembly, David Weprin, Felix Ortiz, Brian Kavanaugh, Rhoda Jacobs, Neely Rozek, and Maritza Davila. Thank you to all. Now, I want you to hear from Leonardo Hernando. His story is powerful. He works in a car wash in Queens. He works very, very hard. And as he told Melissa and I in our gathering a moment ago, that he literally cannot take a day off because he simply can't afford. He and his family cannot afford to lose a single day's pay. So no matter how sick he's been, no matter how cold it is, he literally doesn't have the right to take a day off. And we want you to hear Leonardo's story. Wait a sec. We're going to have a little technical difficulty. The speaker has solved the problem, showing her problem-solving skills. Yes. Leonardo, go ahead.
Buenas tardes a todos. Yo mi nombre llamo Leonardo. Vengo de México y estado de Veracruz. Llevo 8 años trabajando en Caraguas. Yo nunca me pagaba un día de enfermo, pero ahora estoy aquí. Me siento contento. Gracias por ustedes. Estamos reuniendo aquí en Nueva York. Que yo me siento contento. Gracias.
As he said, he's Leonardo. He works at a car wash, and he says he's never been able to take a paid sick. He's very happy to be here today to hear about what we're discussing.
Bueno, gracias por ustedes. Gracias por alcalde. Sacó un nuevo ley para pagar un día de enfermedad que
Significa para su familia.
Para mis familias, porque yo nunca faltaba a mi trabajo porque a veces que me pegue la gripe, el fiebre, nunca pagaba un día de enfermedad a mi trabajo, porque falto mi trabajo, no van a llegar todo mi salario. Por eso estoy aquí, por ahora sí me siento contento por ustedes, por esa reunión, lo que está aquí.
He's very happy for what is being discussed. He says that, as the mayor had indicated, that it means a lot to his family, too, because when he gets sick, he cannot take a day off because then he won't have enough money for his family. So this is very significant, and he's very happy today. Gracias, Leonardo.
Thank you.
Now I'd like to bring forward Esmeralda Valencia, and I want to say she is a powerful example to us all. She's a little cold, but she's hanging in there. She is a powerful example to us all because she made the decision to give her employees paid sick days because she thought it would make her workplace better for everyone, for her customers, for her employees, and the proof is in the experience that she's had. Let's hear from Esmeralda.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
My name is Esmeralda. I am had honor in this restaurant for 10 years. I am a member of May the Road, New York, and Small Business United. I am proud of my business. I am proud to hire people from this community and help this build a life and want them to be healthy. Giving paid sick days made good business sense with even in employer, and they are dedicated our business. I fear from all business, providing paid sick days to their employers, and grace love playing like all. I am happy support for this law. Okay, thank you. My name is Esmeralda Valencia. Soy de Ecuador. Tengo mi negocio por 10 años aquí. Me siento sumamente confortable con que hayan extendido pues esta ley. Definitivamente, porque si nosotros tenemos nuestros empleados con salud, garantizamos una muy buena alimentación para nuestras comunidades. Si nuestros trabajadores están saludables, también van a rendirnos mejor. Entonces, es por eso que yo como dueña de negocio estoy sumamente feliz con esta ley. Gracias por venir a mi negocio, muy amables, muchas gracias.
So, Esmeralda told us that she started this business almost 10 years ago, and she made a decision to respect her employees. If they got sick, she made sure they had the time to get well. If their families needed help, she made sure they had the time to take care of their families. She said the result is that she's had incredibly loyal and hardworking employees. A couple of her employees have actually been with her the whole 10 years and have stuck with it because this is a workplace that respects them and they want to respect their workplace and the person who owns the workplace. And there's a really great example in that. She said the people who work here are hardworking, they're focused, they're loyal, because when they had those moments of need, they had the opportunity to take care of their families. And that also means, and she pointed out, she said it with a common sense that I think all New Yorkers would appreciate. I said, tell me some of the good things about the fact that your employees had paid sick days. And she said, look around, it's a restaurant. We have to think about our customers. They have to be healthy. We can't have someone here sick. I know Tish James may have to think long and hard about speaking publicly. It may be kind of halting, but I know she can overcome this shyness issue, and we have to help her and support her. Tish, we believe in you.
Thank you, sir.
I don't think you need the step. Let's see. Do you want the step or not?
No.
Okay.
Fine.
Public Advocate Tish James.
Thank you. So, as the acting president pro temp of the City Council, I am now gaveling in the City Council since we have a quorum, and we're going to move the bill immediately. All the members of the City Council who want to move the bill, please say aye. I think the bill shall pass, Madam Speaker. Thank you very much. So let me just say to Mayor de Blasio and to Speaker Melissa Mark-Viverito, she said wedding. First, as we celebrate the birthday of Dr. Martin Luther King, it is so fitting that we announce this bill today because Dr. King talked about the problems associated with poverty and how poverty was like weeds that will spread when left ignored. And clearly the administration of Bill de Blasio is not ignoring the issue of poverty, which affects so many. Today, 500,000 individuals, it's estimated, will be handed a lifeline, and a lifeline to lift them out of poverty. And I'm glad to be associated and support this bill. And lastly, let me just say this. Politics matter, and elections have consequences. Today's a great day.
Amen. Scott Stringer does not have a shyness problem. His son Max has even less of a shyness problem. We're going to ignore that comment and move forward. I'd like to bring up our controller, Scott Stringer.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm adjusting, Tish. We have rights too. I am very excited to be here today. I want to thank Mayor de Blasio. I want to thank the Speaker, Melissa Mark-Viverito, the members of the City Council. This bill is significant for so many New Yorkers because for so many families, when a child gets sick or grandmother is ill, that painful decision, that discussion that goes on is really about, do I take care of family or do I go to work to pay the rent? And it's black and white. There's no middle ground. There's no shade of gray. For so many families who struggle every day, having to make that decision has been something that has put so many in harm's way. This administration, coming out of the box today, has taken that decision off the table for hundreds of thousands of people in this city. This is a tremendous moment for New York and for the people who struggle every day. It really is. And I just want to say, because people will talk tomorrow about what is the impact on the economy? What is this going to do for the business climate? And I just want to say, as controller, by lifting people up so people can pay the rent and take care of their families, New York will prosper economically. We guarantee it. Thank you.
Amen. All right. With that, you have heard our resolute focus on passing this legislation. I want to thank all the members of the City Council who are here. I want to thank the Speaker. I want to thank all of them for the common cause we feel. Let's take questions on this topic first, and then we can take off-topic questions. On this topic, Sally. Louder, Sally.
Yeah, go ahead. Louder. And here. Yeah, sorry. You want to stand up maybe? Yeah, we might even.
Chairs haven't been picked yet. Are you confident, or do you know that this will pass committee? And it sounds like this is going to happen, but it's not clear that it can even pass the committee, right?
This is a bill that will be introduced, and it is at the request of the mayor, and it will get a complete vetting through the council process, the committee process. It will get a hearing. So once the assignments are made, that appropriate committee will be designated.
Tell it like it is, girl.
What is your response to some business owners, especially some small business owners, who say that this expanded legislation will hurt their ability to run their operations and stay in business?
We have examples from all over the country that prove that paid sick leave legislation works for everyone. In fact, it improves productivity. It improves the retention of workers. Again, it improves productivity, improves retention of workers. It creates a better environment for customers. There's so many advantages. And what we've seen in Seattle and San Francisco and Connecticut and the District of Columbia, more recently Philadelphia, all over the country, you see this consistent movement where states and localities are moving in this direction because it's been proven to work. Gail Brewer mentioned it's also good in terms of the healthcare costs that are such a big issue in our society because people have the opportunity to get well rather than end up in the emergency room or end up in the hospital. So I think the track record is very favorable. On this topic,
Will this legislation be similar to the last where DCA will be the enforcement agency?
yes, DCA is the enforcement agency. There's language to make sure that if enforcement requires help from other agencies that we can do that, but DCA will be the lead.
Timeline for weeks, months, how long are we talking before we actually see passage?
Before?
See passage.
Well, I will start, and the Speaker obviously is the expert. I think there's tremendous consensus. Again, this is a piece of legislation that had a super, exactly, this is a basically the original legislation that for 3 years had a supermajority. And if you've talked to the incoming members, they're very enthusiastic about this. So I think we can move on a very tight timeline, but let the Speaker talk about the specifics.
As indicated in our discourse, this is not a new bill. This is a bill that had been drafted, had been worked on many years ago, so there's already something to start off and work with. So as soon as we can introduce it, we will, and it will go through the hearing process and follow that timeline.
And to
1st,
clarify, I appreciate Gail as an expert on this bill.
April 1st.
April 1st for one segment of those covered by the existing law, April 1st would be the day when it takes effect. Others, again, would not feel the effect until 2015. What we all aim to do is to put all the different groups of people covered, including the over 500,000 who will now be covered, who were not before, on that April 1st, 2014 timeline. So if the legislative process moves as quickly as we believe it will, all of those New Yorkers will be covered by April 1st of this year. Marcia.
I wondered if you had any figures about how many businesses,
Louder, I'm sorry.
how many businesses in New York have 5 employees or more that would have to now give paid sick leave, and what this could mean economically in terms of the infusion of capital into the economy, as people will have this money to spend.
Well, I know in terms of employees, we've laid out the difference. I don't honestly know in terms of number of businesses. I don't know if my colleagues know that, or else we'll get it to you. But again, we believe this makes for a healthier economy all around. You'll see increased productivity. You'll see increased job retention. And to your question, people will have consistent income, which means they'll be able to spend it. They won't have those economic dislocations.
I mean, I just wondered if maybe Gail or somebody has any idea of how much extra money this would put into New York City's economy.
I don't know if I have that number. Do you? Yeah, we'll have to get you an estimate. This is less about that point as about protecting family economies, protecting the stability and security of family economies. On this topic, yes, Rich.
Is there anything?
You don't look cold at all, Rich. Just wanted to note that.
Thank you. If somebody takes a sick day, does he or she have to produce a note from a doctor? Is there anything to protect them against
3
that?
days. After 3 days or more. 3 days or more. So the first 2 days, no, but from the third day on, you have to produce documentation.
It's a total of 5 sick days that you get every year?
5 every year. 40 hours, 5. Yep.
It's earned. It's accrued.
In the year.
30
Right.
hours
Up to 5 in the year.
Where are you getting the figures that this will extend sick coverage to 500,000 more workers?
Well, this is based on all the research that was done around the original legislation. So, again, our team can get you the backup documentation, but these are numbers that have been pretty consistently recognized over the 3, almost now 4 years that this issue has been front and center. Yes?
This is for the Speaker, please.
On this topic.
So a lot of council members only found out that this press conference, this deal was in place last night. Some even after reporters have called them and after reports were out. Can you talk a little bit about that issue and how that plays into your promise of making council more transparent and very
There was no deal struck. This is a conversation that has been going on for many years with regards to bringing back the expansion of this bill to its original form. It was briefly mentioned in Democratic caucus earlier this week, the conversation that has been emerging around the issue of possibly bringing this bill back. It is being introduced at the request of the mayor. It will be introduced by the council. It will be vetted at the council committee hearings. It will get a hearing. There will be debate. There will be dialogue. So it's extremely transparent process. And again, there is no deal that's been struck. It's a conversation. We are looking forward to having the conversation, which was supported by a vast majority of existing council members and also has expressed a lot of consideration and support by the council members coming into the council. So that's the way that it happened and it transpired.
Okay, we're going to stay. Where's Phil Walzak to decide? Are we on this topic or new topic? New topics. This or any topic. Let me say it better. Right down the middle.
Mayor, last March when the basically was coming out with the compromise deal, DCA, just to follow up on Chris's question, put out some statements, strong statements, saying that they weren't a regulatory body that focused on payroll. Are you going to make changes to DCA? I mean, you don't even have a new person.
Well, we think that they're the right agency to handle this, and we'll certainly make sure they have the capacity to do it. Yes.
Sources have been telling us that your administration is considering hiring a top aide to Reverend Al Sharpton to be chief of staff to your wife. I'm wondering, chief of staff implies or suggests that there may be multiple staff working for the First Lady. Can you tell us at all about how her role is going to be in the administration and the plans to hire people to support her?
I would like to give you an A for effort, for asking variations on this question several times. We, as with every other announcement about personnel, staffing, roles that people will play, will have something to say when it's formulated and when we're ready. Yeah.
Back to sick leave. Is this for all employees or just those considered full-time who's working 30, 35, 40 hours?
So it's, I'm going to let Gail go into the fine point, and with Melissa, one just point. So it's employees of companies, 5 employees or more. Take it away.
What you do is you accrue it. In other words, you get to so many hours depending on how many hours you work and when you begin. It doesn't happen immediately. So there's an accrual process.
30 hours or more. Right?
Yeah, 30 hours. You have to work 30 hours or more. But if you're a part-time employee, it takes a while to accrue, so you don't actually get 5 sick days immediately. We can give you the specifics afterwards if you want.
Again, I'll start, and if the Speaker or the Borough President have anything to add, we welcome it. The facts on the ground are what matter here. We have cities and states around the country now been doing this over the last several years. And again, consistently, the reports back, the research is that it does not fundamentally change the behavior of folks who work. If anything, it improves the behavior. So I think that small business owners, like Esmeralda, will quickly recognize that this is going to be a good thing for the business, good thing for the customers, a good thing for the people who work in the business, a good thing for our society. The productivity impact of having your workers healthy, of being able to keep your workforce stable, it's going to be, I think, a very big positive impact. And look, folks who own businesses are very smart about seeing what works, and they're going to see this works.
1 or 2 more, please.
1 or 2 more.
Can you elaborate a little bit on what kind of discussions you'll be having, not just within the council, but with business owners and leaders in the business community who are already concerned or at least want to be part of that conversation?
I'll start, and my colleagues can jump in. Look, this is, again, the 4th year of a conversation. I just want to emphasize, and I really hope all my colleagues in the media will note that fact. A lot of us have been engaged in this discussion with business owners over 1, 2, 3, 4 years. And I think there's a lot of small business owners who understand why this is a good idea. But of course, as the Speaker said, there's going to be a deliberative process. There's going to be an opportunity to hear the voices of small business. I, in the last year in particular, have talked about some of the policies of this city in the last few years that hurt small business that need to change. And that's a separate topic, but I assure you we're going to move very aggressively on that front as well to create more fairness for small business. So, yes, small business will be at the table, but this dialogue that's proceeded over the last 3 or 4 years has convinced a lot of us that this is a measure that's good for communities and good for small business. One more. I'm sorry. Please.
No, I think just to confirm, this is an introduction of a prior bill that had been thoroughly discussed. So clearly we understand that there are going to be those who are going to argue against it. It's been heard before. We still are going to have a process in which there will be hearings and there will be debate. Those voices can be heard once again, and that opportunity will be provided. But it's not a new conversation. It's not a new premise. This has been, again, discussed over 4 or 5 years at this point.
Is there actually going to be negotiation in terms of what?
Negotiations have transpired prior. Okay, so we are going to have a conversation of the bill as presently been introduced, that it will be introduced, and we will take it from there.
Jonathan.
Mr. Mayor, earlier this morning, human remains were found in the waters off of College Point, Queens. There's a speculation it might be the missing student. There's a test ban. Can you provide any update as to what's been found?
It's very painful. I mean, again, I think every parent here, everyone who's got a young person in their life, this is just a horrible, sad story. And there was an extraordinary mobilization all over this city by community members, by the NYPD, looking for this young man with no success. And I can only imagine what his parents have gone through. What we know today is that the remains have arrived at the medical examiner's office. They will be analyzed. We don't know exactly when we're going to have an answer, but my heart goes out to this family. Thank you, everyone.